Hello. So, Beto O'Rourke makes his rounds in the media, Elizabeth Warren becomes more radical, and President Trump attacks John McCain. I'll get to all of it. My name is John Clinton, and this is the God of Freedom Show. All right. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope everyone had a great couple of days. We have a lot to get to, so let's not waste any time. So, as we know, the 2020 election is coming up, and it's coming up rather fast. And things are getting more and more crazy as time goes on, and this um, is evident in the Democratic Party. As right now, about pretty much every Democrat and their uncles and brothers are running for president at this point. We got some like 16 Democrats running for president. We got some kind of moderate senators, some radicals. The people who get the most attention, but from the media, is the radicals. Among them is Beto O'Rourke. And as you recall, Beto O'Rourke ran for Senate in Texas against Ted Cruz and lost. And if you recall, this is the same guy who was 26 when he was 26 years old, drove while drunk and hit traffic head on and fled from the scene on foot. So yeah, that's wonderful. So, anyways, he is. So last week, as you recall, he announced that he was run for president, and from there, since then he's spouted like quite radical views. One of them being that he has advocated for like basically open borders. He has called for any existing wall to be torn down. He has bashed the border patrol. He has also pretty much advocated for late-term abortions as well. Just a couple of days ago, there was a rally. And a woman asked a question about this, and he basically said that it's up to the woman to decide if she wants to do that or not. So whether he may not truly feel that late-term abortion is okay, but he'll be fine with it legalized, just like. So he's expressed quite a number of radical views. He's even bashed like AIPAC and is pretty much anti-Israel. In an interview yesterday, he's said that he doesn't take pro-Israel money from Jews, which is a wonderful comment. But despite all that, he's very well liked, and I honestly don't know why, but he's very well liked by many people, like millennials, all of them, and especially super white women. If you recall, back in the November election, that he was portrayed by the media as someone who's hip and cool to the game, which is how he's appealed to millennials. He's also appealed to white suburban women, which can become a problem for President Trump, because white suburban women don't really like Trump all that much. So if they were to gain the Democratic nomination, he can pose a significant challenge for the president. But at this point, I really don't see him getting a nomination. I think Bernie Sanders is probably more likely to win the nomination, and Bernie will get some kind of challenge to the president, but ultimately, Trump will win against him easily. But anyways, so among the radicals, we got Bernie Sanders, of course. We got Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, and Elizabeth Warren. And what's surprising about Elizabeth Warren that is a year ago that she was pretty moderate for the most part, and then now a year later she's pretty radical. She's expressed several radical views, and one of them is being eliminated the Electoral College. So one of the things that she's been talking about is eliminating the Electoral College, and there's, of course, one reason only why the left is even advocating for this, because they lost election in 2016, and they don't like Trump, so they want to try by any means necessary to stop him from winning, or any Republican from winning, actually. and even that means tearing down the system. Thing is, the problem with eliminating the electoral college is that what the founders did with it is the purpose of it is to give equal representation to each state to choose the president. And if the electoral college is eliminated, really the choice would come down between like just a few states like California, and New York, and maybe some Texas or Tennessee, or whatever. But like people in the middle of the country, like Utah or like Oklahoma, whatever, those states won't get zero representation with a popular voting system, which is what the founding what the founders rejected to because they feared a mob rule. So, anyways, Rich Lowry in Politico has a great piece about this. It's titled "Why Elizabeth Warren is Wrong About the Electoral College." Here's what it says. Elizabeth Warren, the pointy end of the spear of Democratic radicalism, has called for the end of the Electoral College. My view, she said at the CNN town hall, is that every vote matters, and the way we can make that happen is that we can have national voting, and that means getting rid of the Electoral College. Her statement elicited the support of other 2020 candidates. The same people who complain daily about Donald Trump violating the norms are now openly advocating eliminating the Electoral College and impacting the Supreme Court. The Constitution, where the workings of the Electoral College are set out at length, is impossible to change on a partisan basis. So Electoral College isn't going anywhere, although opponents are attempting an end run through a compact of states. The disproportion of this effort is notable. In 2016, Democrats rigged their nomination process in favor of a radioactive candidate who was uninterested in appealing to white working-class voters and operated on a deeply flawed view of the electoral map. And yet they blame her loss on a mechanism for electing presidents that would have existed with the slight modifications since the adoption of the Constitution. Democrats want to beat Donald Trump and win the presidency going forward. There are simpler, less far-fetched expedients within their grasp before trying to dump the Electoral College. Nominate a more appealing candidate, find a way to pick up a little more support in the Rust Belt and the Midwest, and moderate on cultural issues and drive up African American turnout. This is completely true. That's pretty much all they have to do is nominate a likable candidate, but instead they want to really tear down the system. But anyways, it continues. If Democrats who can manage a few of these things win the both popular vote and electoral college majority, the usual outcome throughout our history, their concerns over the electoral college would suddenly evaporate, which is true. Like I said, if they would have won in 2016, they would have said how wonderful the electoral college is and all that. It continues. The case against the electoral college first, as Elizabeth Warren said, that it supposedly ensures that some votes don't matter, and heavily blue or red states on the other side of are effectively disenfranchised. This isn't true, though. All votes are counted toward the outcome in every state. Voters from Republican rural areas in California, for instance, are disregarded. They are simply outnumbered. If it is the considered progressive view that this tantamount to disenfranchisement, California could have immediately mitigated the problem by splitting its electoral votes by a congressional district, like the way Nebraska and Maine do. This would require no change to the U.S. Constitution or elaborate schemes. Of course, California is loath to give up any of its solidly Democratic electoral votes. Another argument is that the Electoral College bears a moral stain of slavery, but the debate over how to select the president that took place at the Constitutional Convention, whether to do it by popular vote or via Congress, or another method, it was between the large states and small states. slavery wasn't mentioned, except in the ambiguous remark by James Madison. The Electoral College was indirectly touched by the notorious slavery compromise only because states were allocated electors based on their senators in congressional districts, and slaves were counted as 3/5 of persons for purposes of congressional representation. The Electoral College wasn't in any way dependent on the 3/5 clause, or was it defined by it. The clause was abolished 50 years ago, and yet the Electoral College persisted. Then there's this question of proportionality. The way the Electoral College distributes electors isn't strictly proportional to the population of states. This makes sense, since that it was a compromise between the large and small states. Still, it is not as though the big states aren't hugely important. 84 electoral votes of automatically blue California and New York are an enormous step towards electoral victory. It takes 19 small states to almost equal the electoral vote haul of those behemoths. Indeed, it is theoretically possible via a coalition of big states alone to get to 270 electoral votes while losing 39 smaller states in the District of Columbia. Finally, there is the issue of legitimacy of the popular vote winner or losing the presidency. It's understandable that Democrats feel aggrieved by how Hillary Clinton lost, but 2016 wasn't a true test of the popular vote, given her opponent wasn't contesting the campaign on those grounds. Trump's team was rightly trying to eke out an electoral college victory rather than a run up the score in Republican states. Yes, Clinton made the rebel bounce in California and New York, beating Trump by almost 2-1 margins, but that didn't get her anything except greater permission to act the sore loser. What Democrats want is effectively to make California and New York keep the keymakers in presidential policies, and not have to bother with the middle of the country and smaller, more rural states. This is exactly the approach the Electoral College is meant to foreclose, in favor of a greater geographic diversity. Opponents of the Electoral College have made some progress in getting blue states to agree to award their electors to the popular vote winner, a deal that would go into effect when states equaling 270 electors join the compact. This regime will surely lose its allure as soon as it meant awarding the electoral votes of these states to Donald Trump or any other Republican. And indeed, why would Connecticut or Illinois give its electors to the candidate its voters oppose? And the Trump era Democrats are in perpetual state of panic. They should remember that the electoral map is always changing. Before 2016, it was thought that the Electoral College favored Democrats. It shouldn't be beyond their conceiving that they can win again under the long-established rules of America's foundational governing document. If it's true that they can't, they only have themselves to blame. Which is completely true. There's a lot more than I could say about it. So yeah, I mean, that's a big issue with Democrats. Like they view the system as a problem, but the thing is, they don't have likable candidates, which is why they're losing. And the only way to win the presidency is to get a likable candidate, like I said. So, anyways, one of the other things that Elizabeth Warren is advocating for is slave reparations, which is basically you forcing whites to pay blacks for slavery, which makes zero sense since no one alive today is a slave or was a slave owner. So it doesn't make sense why we should pay for something people did like 150 years ago, which makes zero sense. But anyways, and that's what Elizabeth Warren is advocating for. She tweeted out on Monday, on the 18th of March, whatever, is slavery is a stain on America, and we need to address it head on. I believe it's time to start a national full-blown conversation about reparations. I support the bill in the House to support a congressional panel of experts so that our nation can do what's right and begin to heal. Okay. I mean, again, this makes zero sense whatsoever, and like it will only divide the country even more. So I don't know what she's doing, but there's really one reason why she's doing this. She's trying to get intersectionality on points. And I mean, honestly, I doubt even this will work because, I mean, as you recall, Elizabeth Warren has a history. It's quite a history with this subject. She, like, for years has claimed that she's Native American, and that's like she has used that to her advantage to get into school and all that. And and if you recall back in October, she took a DNA test and released it, and it turns out that she is not Native American. That she is actually maybe 1/1024th Native American, which is like very small fraction. Like she's whiter than me. I mean, honestly. So, I mean, that's really the only reason why. But I mean, honestly, I don't see this working out for her because I bet like people like Kamala Harris will confront her about the Native American stuff, which I mean, rightly so. But we shall see. I mean, like I said, I mean, we can't predict the future at this point. I mean, we're not in normal times, so I mean, anything can happen. I mean, probably no, like Cory Booker could be the nominee, which would be quite insane. But I mean, then again, he probably won't have any chance of being Trump anyways. But so for some reason, President Trump has decided to attack John McCain. Don't know why, but I mean, as a disclaimer, I mean, I wasn't the hugest John McCain fan. I mean, I disagreed with many things that he's did, like what he did on with Obamacare, his views on immigration, and all that. He wasn't that good of a senator, but I mean, there's no doubt he was an American war hero. And plus, like he died like about 6 months ago. But so I mean, honestly, don't know why President Trump is like attacking him. I mean, I get that he's angry, but I mean, there's no need to. One of the more disgusting things that he said was that basically that he set up the funeral for John McCain, but of course his family didn't invite him. But so he said like he didn't get a thank you or anything. But sorry, I'm gonna go off the tangent. But anyways, it's still all like I'm pretty disgusting, and it's like really uncalled for. And Meghan McCain, his daughters, rightly come to defend her, but I mean, for some reason, like Trump's base was like attacked her as a traitor too, for whatever reason. But even though she's just defending her father, Mr. President, please just shush. I mean, that's all you have to do is be quiet for just a second, for just like from here until 2020. If you could shut your mouth, I mean, you can win at the presidency easily. But when you spout off like nonsense like this, I mean, it only hurts you among like more people who are lukewarm around you, and you don't need that. So just calm down. John McCain is not hurting you right now, so just let it go, okay? All right. So, as we recall, last week there was the shooting over in New Zealand, the New Zealand mosque. Some 50 people were killed. A white supremacist came in with some AR-15s and shot up 2 mosques. So, again, it's a horrible situation. But just yesterday, last couple of days, New Zealand has enacted some gun control laws that would have not done like anything to prevent it, because just like he already violated laws that allowed him to modify his weapons to the point where he can take out as many people as possible. But of course, this has gotten support from Democrats over here in America, where Democrats basically calling for an openly calling for confiscation of guns. There's the Alexander Ocasio-Cortez has, of course, called for a complete ban on semi-automatic weapons, and some other Democratic candidates as well. Which, I mean, as for semi-automatic, like covers pretty much every single gun in the United States. And if Democrats think they can, there's no chance that like people in Texas or like even in Georgia will like stand for that. But whatever. That's how it works. So that's about all I have today. So I'll be back here on Wednesday for probably a lot more crazy new stuff going to happen. I'll see you all then. I hope everyone has a great weekend. My name is Sean Clinton, and this is the God and Freedom Show.